And folks, we have breaking news on Tesla too. Jenny Horne, host of Next Gen Investing, is with us, and we're seeing Tesla with an up arrow.
We are. So, I mean, Tesla coming in with its delivery numbers, Nicole, and they were far better than had been expected. So right now we're seeing deliveries that just totaled roughly 499,000. That was 497,000, excuse me. That was far better than what had been expected by the street. I saw consensus at around 447,000, but 497,000 would mark about 7.3% year-over-year growth, and also Tesla's best quarterly deliveries ever. So that is a huge win. Also, we're seeing right now about basically 15,000 of those models, or just 16,000 be the other models, but the mass bulk is 481,000 are their Model 3 or Model Ys. So that obviously makes up a huge portion of where those deliveries came from. Also notable is the fact that we actually saw energy deployment come in around 12.5 gigawatts of energy storage production in their third quarter. That also did mark their quarterly best as far as their energy output. Then I will say, all things considered, production for vehicles was not any record-setting number. Came in around 447,000 in the third quarter. Tesla does not break out its monthly numbers like the way the Chinese conglomerates do. We got those numbers yesterday. But I think that this continues to illustrate that Tesla is the biggest, most profitable. There's not really a name in town like it. We went through all of the deliveries yesterday of the Chinese EVs, and comparatively, I mean, Tesla, if you took all of their deliveries, combined them for the quarter, that being of NIO, Li Auto, XPeng, they're still making, I mean, roughly 115,000 units for the quarter. That's still a fourth of the size of where Tesla came in today, less than a fourth. So just goes to show Tesla's still the biggest and the best in town. And this number was definitely better than feared. If we could duplicate this figure for the fourth quarter, which historically fourth quarter numbers actually are 10 to 15% above what we see from third quarter, obviously subject to geopolitical situations. All that to be said, though, if we could duplicate this number for fourth quarter, then we will actually be perfectly on track to really hit that target of around 1.8 million deliveries annually, which the street is hoping for. We hope we don't see another contraction for deliveries as far as annual growth, but we'll have to wait and see, because third quarter was definitely putting some sigh of relief on the overall narrative surrounding their deliveries. I know so much of the enthusiasm has been tied to autonomy, but they're still a delivery and production company. So I think these numbers really strong here today.
Yeah, and good news on the energy delivery as well. Deployed record energy storage, as well as the growth that you mentioned as far as the deliveries, the most ever that you said. So obviously delivering energy, delivering cars, and doing incredibly well. And that gives the boost to, obviously, Elon Musk himself. He's now the $500 billion man on his way to the trillionaire, right? We talked about his pay package, that he could in fact be the first trillionaire. Now he's half a trillionaire, so he's halfway there. I mean, it wasn't that long ago he was at 400 billion late last year, and now with this move, right, we've seen this stock up over 70% in 6 months. Let's get to Apple. That's also in the headlines today.
Yeah, Apple also always, I think, an important one to keep on your radar, just given the fact that it is still one of the largest names in our tech coverage. But some more of a mixed picture here when it comes to Apple, as we have seen various Vision Pro headlines, like the right now reports that they're halting the planned overhaul of their Vision Pro headset to redirect these various resources towards developing smart glasses that are able to compete now with Meta. So this is per a Bloomberg report, but they said that the iPhone maker, which had been preparing a cheaper variant of Vision Pro, did announce internally last week that it's shifting workers from that project to accelerate its work on glasses. Again, per people familiar with the matter. Now, outside of that news today, because Vision Pro is such a niche product to me, I mean, you look at it, retails at roughly $3,500, that perhaps halting the planned overhaul is again, not a positive headline. But what is positive is everything that we hear from the street as of late. So Morgan Stanley raising its price target to $298 a share from $240 with an overweight rating, saying the iPhone 17 launch is modestly stronger than they had originally expected. And while shares have largely priced this in, there is a positive bias, in their opinion, to Apple's consensus estimates over the next year or so. So they now believe they could be more excited even about the iPhone 18 launch, and they increased their 2024 iPhone estimates by 4% to account for this better iPhone 17 sell-through. Plus, UBS also did say this Evidence Lab data right now from iPhone availability across 30 geographies is suggesting that peak demand is already behind us for the iPhone 17 base model, and the Air model right now for wait times, they also did mention, is starting to ease. So they believe the iPhone 17 demand is past that initial launch peak, and as such, to see wait times further erode going forward may be absent from this promotional activity, which they don't believe is necessarily a positive thing. If you're already seeing that drop off, perhaps that product right now is just losing that peak loyalty of the consumer that does line up around the block to get the iPhone 17. But Apple modestly higher today, and I will say all that to be said, they do have a neutral rating UBS on Apple, a $220 price target. So still optimists on Apple, but just acknowledging the fact that we've also been actually at Apple shares a pretty nice recovery in the last several months, as we've seen a lot of these other Mag 7s sort of be basically sideways. Apple's actually been on an improving trend here.
Jenny Horne, thank you. Great to see you. Two good names to watch, Tesla and Apple.